Good morning, welcome back, and thanks for watching the fake TV channel of The Lost Begotten. Starting to wonder what the hell I was even thinking when I came up with that name. But for those of you who already know, I don't need to explain, so just get the joke and move on. Now I'm going to start this one with a did you know? Sorry, packing my cigarettes on camera, I guess hold on. Okay, it's out of the way. Sorry. Guess I could have hit the pause button, but I didn't. Live with it. Did you know that one of the best ways to cause a country to fight amongst itself and thus make it a little bit easier to conquer? You know, you might have heard of this whole thing, divide and conquer. Sound familiar? Ring a bell? Well, people seem to like to judge. And they think, oh, Paul told me to judge. Jesus said don't, but Paul said do it, so I'm going to do it. James, I don't even fucking care who said it. It wasn't Jesus. Jesus said, judge not, lest ye be judged yourselves. Correct? Now, who else said what? And why should I give a shit? No, you don't judge other people. One of the reasons why you don't judge other people is because you're not capable of strategic thought. Sorry, not capable is a little harsh. A lot of you are not capable of strategic thought. But many of you are capable of strategic thought. And some of you are even capable of strategic speech. But you don't bother with it. And here's what I mean. Divide and conquer. How many times when you heard something bad about Obama and compared it, A, to what God would want you to feel and think, okay, out of loving and kindness and what does not let you be yourself. But B, do you ever consider the strategic aspect of divide and conquer when faced with what is clearly propagandized information? Did you? No, you didn't. Okay? That's why I don't care if you do or do not watch Fox News or Alex Jones. You are still a Rupert Murdoch bitch. Okay? And I have no fucking sympathy at all for you. This is not beginner's class. Move on, find a new fucking video. Or you can just decide to wake up all at once because you can learn a lot. So, I have notes. A long, long time ago, there was notes. Okay. I didn't want to go too far with that and wind up sued. Fuck's sake. So, I'm just going to read because I wrote, and that's what people do when they write stuff. These are the jokes, folks. That's all I got. Is America evil? Babylon? Satan? I don't know. Could it be? If you arrive at one system of belief due to your aversion to another, you are being misled by emotion, anger, fear, inequity, racial fucking bigotry, something. You're being misled by emotion. The same is true for atheists. The same is as true, The same is as true, a comparison, for atheists as it is for truthers. I should quote both of those because there's no such thing as an atheist, and most of you truthers are full of shit. Moving on. When it comes to... That is, okay, let me back up. In case I need to repeat myself. The same is true. The same is as true for atheists as it is for truthers when it comes to abandoning their religion or their country. Even when I was a 9/11 truther, I laid into the anti-government anarchist idiots who seem to be using that tragedy to push a pre-existing agenda. Now, you see, it's important to me, and it was back then, even when I thought the Bush administration was a corporate coup, which I still believe to this day, and I know how we got our power back. Not exactly, but I have a few clues and details that nobody fucking talks about. As soon as I put those together, I'm sure I'll make a video. But that's what I refer to as the Pelosi leverage. One day, Bush lost his nuts, and Nancy Pelosi was looking happy, and I wanted to know why. Other video. Yeah. So, the point is, I used to make it a way to explain things to people. Explain things to people. What happened to the America that we learned about in school? What happened to the America that I learned about in church? You know, like, what happened to America? Land of the free, home of the brave. Anybody? What a bunch of fucking cowards you are. Oh, we got a black president. I don't like America anymore. Putin, come bring me your nipples. I want to choke one. RT, Fox News. Yes, those are Putin's metaphorical nipples. So, like I said, even when I thought the White House and had clear, in my mind, clear evidence. I mean, I wasn't going off of wild conspiracy websites. I was going off of well-known facts and had put together a hell of a story. Okay, well, it was still important to me to speak on the level of someone who wanted to be involved with the system as opposed to someone who just doesn't like the system. If you find somebody who's against the system to begin with, chances are everything else they're telling you is bullshit. And they're a fucking agent. Okay? Period. And the government shall be upon his shoulders. Judge them by their works, not what you saw on fake TV. Okay? Like, speaking of what you learned in church and fake TV, what you see on YouTube, I don't know if like many people realize it's not all real. In fact, much of it is not real. This is real. I don't cut these videos. I use a cell phone. A cell phone. I don't know how to illustrate with the camera that it's a cell phone, but I don't have a mirror. I don't know what that'd do. That'd cause like a space-time continuum breach or something. Anyway, but point is, when somebody has a bunch of information you've never heard before and a bunch of analysis of fucking symbols that they really don't have any clue what any of them mean, okay? They're bullshit. Now, see, fake TV's fake as fake can fucking be, okay? But what people don't realize is that real TV is fake too, okay? For as long as I've been alive, celebrities have been trying to use mysticism to appear cool, to get ahead, to blend in. And some of them have sold their souls. Okay. The government did not buy them. The government's not involved here. This is a free country. They have freedom of speech. The government would get in trouble if they interfered in any way with this shit. Okay. Plus, the government would not make nearly as much money, and they probably would have had a worse time with the Cold War. But you see like Jay-Z going like, if he's whatever, so what? Who gives a fuck? Don't listen to his music. But chances are he's not. Chances are nobody gives a fuck about him. He's just a rapper. Let him fucking do his thing. Let him make his money. Let him fucking wave all the hand signals he wants. I mean, he's just collecting haters because it's fucking free publicity. Are you people blind? Like these fucking idiots who want to comment on my channel like I give a slight sliver of a fucking almond flavored shit what you think. Keep them coming. I can delete them. In fact, most of them are fucking automatically deleted. But you're still making my comment count go up, which makes me get more hits, which makes me a recommended video. So while you think you're, I don't know, getting approval from people who are as dumb as you or as closed-minded as you, I want to stop using the dumb word, but I mean, being closed-minded in itself is fucking dumb. It's inexcusable. And posting as if someone else should give a shit about your closed-mindedness is the definition of pathetic. Moving on. Tra-la-la. Back to the notes. Yeah, back to the notes. Like, simple fact. People who troll online, not one of them even has any business getting into a fist fight with someone like me. Not one of them can fight on a fucking basic level. Because the more experience you have, the more secure you are. And when you're a secure person, you don't expect people who disagree with you to give a shit about what you think. And when you have an opinion, you state the opinion. You don't fucking name call. Someone who speaks in absolutes is demon possessed. No one ever does this. They always do that. Only a Sith speaks in absolutes, okay? These are not the droids your fucking brain is ran by, okay? It's demon possession. It's demonic confusion, okay? And don't think I'm trying to define what a demon is. A demon could just be a vibration. I don't care what you think a demon is. But as far as your psychology goes, when you get blinded to the data because of an emotion, that's what I'm calling demon possession. Okay? You're not seeing things clearly. You think everybody who does this is like this, and everybody does this all the time, and everybody should do this, and nobody ever does this, and I bet you have fun in relationships. That's all I'm saying. I've had girlfriends like that. Ooh. If you're dating people and trying to find a good mate, when you find someone who speaks in absolutes, beware. They may be a Sith Lord. No, I mean, well, they got fucking problems. You turn. Find another one. Focus on yourself for a while. You are not ready. It is not the time. Okay? Be patient. Wait for God to bring you somebody. Okay? 30 years. It happened. Girlfriend when I was a kid that I knew was my soulmate before I was even born. 30 years later, I found her. So don't tell me about your little sob story. So, when atheists look to when atheists look to propagandize excuses to reject God, they follow the same path of self-righteous self-deception as someone who uses Alex Jones tabloidism to excuse their racism against President Barack Obama. See, all these things about the Rothschilds and bullshit, I heard them all when I was 10 years old. You know why I heard them all when I was 10 years old? Because there were people trying to make a skinhead out of me. Okay? The reason why you're all hearing them now is because they're trying to make skinheads out of all of you. They're trying to turn you into a slave army. If you don't know what a slave army is, you should go watch my slave army video, because you might just realize when you watch it that you're in one. Back to the notes. So, an atheist talks about evolution as if you can't make a fossil within one lifetime. You can actually start when you're young. By the time you're 40 or 50 years old, you'll have a bunch of fossils you can just break off and sell them to say they're thousands of millions of years old. Okay. Which implies that the fossil strata is questionable at best. And the most likely thing that could have happened is a worldwide flood. Okay? You take into account the physical evidence, you take into account known processes, okay, the ability to make a fossil. How do you make a fossil? You can guess how a fossil's made, and you can say it's millions of years old, but you're just fucking guessing. Or you could try to fake one. That's been done. People have been busted for doing it. It's known. It's fact. You cannot argue with it. That is the process of making fossil. That is how you make a fossil. Okay? You bury shit under fucking mud. Now, what happens when big floods come? Then get buried under mud. You know, different animals in different areas, they float at different rates. They die at different rates. They sink at different rates. In a sloshy, semi-gelatinous mud mixture before the mud settles, their buoyancy, actually, their density, would settle them. Different layers. Oh, yeah, because you see, if you look at the evolutionary record, a lot of it just doesn't make fucking sense. But if you take into the account what pretty much every culture on the planet has in their fucking records, Occam's razor, the flood happened, evolution didn't. Because that's your evidence. And I just threw it all out of the courtroom. So, people come fucking post to me about the story of the Rothschilds. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. That's how long I've had to research, analyze, do more research, hear what different people said, investigate their motives, their connections. 30 years, okay, which is probably 20 years longer than any of you fucking people. Probably 27 years longer than most of you that have been leaving me comments trying to educate me. It's not adorable. It's not cute. It's sad. Okay? If I needed for you to repeat Russian propaganda to me, I'd read your fucking intro. I mean, no, I would just click on RT and I'd just fucking hear it all for myself. Why do I need you to just repeat what they fucking say? Why do I need you to comment in my shit about the fuck I could just go Google? You know, which I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I wasn't no fucking Google 30 years ago. I was in Texas, so. And Texas is a wild fucking place, man. There is every extreme you can think of as far as culture goes in Texas, especially in Houston. I lived in probably 15 different areas just in Houston alone. I went to 21 different schools in this lifetime. 21. And one of these insecure, pathetic little sniveling shits. Oh, you haven't done math or traveled the world, have you? That was a bit presumptuous. I can just stick to this lifetime. Okay. Then he's like, after I pointed out that you're just presumptuous, he's asking me who taught me math. Didn't bother commenting. Told him it was none of his business. See, two people did come to mind. One of them was the head of the gifted and talented department for the parish, which is the county in Louisiana. And he is known throughout the state in the math community for being one of the most difficult, smartest math teachers you could think of. And he's got a really thick Spanish accent, so listening to him was kind of. I remembered kids' names from that class without even remembering their fucking faces. Some of them I reviewed their faces because I remembered their names and I found them on Facebook. I'm like, hey! And I heard their name in the Spanish accent. The guy was funny. Okay. Yeah. The other guy, I can't do too many specifics on, but not only was he the one who pulled me out of class to help him at least 3 times a week, sometimes 3 times a day. He also let me teach his class. He also taught me Java, the programming language. You need a little bit of math knowledge for that. See, I'm a secure person. I don't need to respond to your bullshit. For my viewers, they can just sit there and laugh. Like, yeah, I had a feeling he was kind of a smart guy. And for people to be just, they're stupid. I don't want to lift them up your deck because they're stupid. La la la. It's funny. It's fucking sad. It's sad that this world has gotten to this point. Okay. It's sad that we have been divided and conquered to this point. Oh, we're certainly divided. If you don't know that we're conquered, what is television news commonly referred to as? And is that not the primary influence of knowledge? The media? Why is it called media? Because some expert one day wrote a book and decided it would be called media. Just like one expert one day wrote a book and decided to cause many denominations to form in what became the Protestant movement. Somebody before that wrote a book and said that would be a bad idea. Guess which one of them was working for the Byzantines? That would be Russia. Byzantine? Byzantine's actually a better word than Khazari. And the hilarity of someone telling me Khazaria doesn't exist, yet they get offended when I talk about Khazaria. I don't even have a joke for that. Like, man, I think I still got the phone number of a guy in the FBI who specializes in online harassment. Moving my hand, nothing. Oh wait, oh yeah. If I put my hand right over the fucking camera thing, then something happens. Sonic wiggle dance. This is my dog Dingo. He just sits there and stares at you. You gonna give me a treat? You gonna take me outside? Got some water? I just drank all my water. Got some water? Love your enemies. You pathetic cowards. I'm sorry I have a problem with child rape. I'm sorry certain books condone slavery. I'll be the first one to attack the Old Testament and say that that should not be considered law for Christians. Okay? But I take ownership that those are Gaelic traditions as well. Fucking sniveling fool. Nobody ever cared what I think. I'm going to probably comment online to people who, I don't know, just are more popular than me for obvious reasons. Sorry. Didn't want to be high schoolish about that, but somebody's acting like a fucking 2-year-old. What do? You make fun of them. One of the reasons why I got thick skin was by living in the ghetto. And I'm a firm believer that mockery is medicine in many cases. When somebody has something that they were born with that's wrong with them, if you mock them, I got a bitch slap waiting for you. Okay? But if someone's just being spiteful and petty, yeah, people from Phoenix are Phoenicians. Quit being a faggot and suck that dick. Okay? Louis C.K. Go watch. Okay. So, church. What'd you learn in church about America? What'd you learn in church lately? Did you learn that the government wasn't to be trusted? See, one of the ways that divide and conquer has been used is by the creation of Protestant denominations. Okay? All you have to do is make a couple of books that convince people that they no longer quite know what to call the other people. Okay? You can do this with churches, and you can do this with races. You can do this with cultures. You could say, for instance, have a period during a particular time in which you were training infiltrators, have a few of your initial professor type infiltrators write some books, and possibly prevent the dominant culture from knowing quite what to refer to these so-called minority cultures as. What was I saying? Different names that you can give for black people, for instance. Now, attention, white people. What are you supposed to call black people these days? I don't fucking know anymore. I just say fucking black people or whatever comes to mind at the time. I try not to be fucking Phoenician-y about it. But they're not fucking black, are they? Used to be Negro. Used to be self-professed as Negro. But then that became taboo. When? Oh, it was about the time they started training the fucking infiltrators. And it sounded too much like that German word for fool that is permeated into the common racist term for black people. Now, I don't think I need to explain how such a simple thing can be so effective. Because think about it. Just think about it. How much discomfort has nomenclature caused? How much discomfort has it caused among different church denominations? Okay? And now, you don't know whether to call Chinese people Asians or have to actually, like, study them and wait for them to speak so you can try to name their country, or Orientals. You call them Oriental. Some of them are saying now you call us Oriental. I don't fucking care. How about they're just fucking people, and if you think they're from somewhere, of African descent, oh, of Asian descent, of Eastern. Touchy, isn't it? Or when you hear somebody say that black guy or that false Jew, let's take offense. Let's think we're being offended as Jews by somebody who's calling out false Jews that are Satanists posing as Jews. Makes a lot of sense. When you are a secure person and you hear somebody say that black guy, you don't give a shit. So when you complain about it, all you're doing is demonstrating that you're sensitive and fucking don't want to focus on issues. You just want to argue about semantics. And people who want to argue about semantics to avoid issues are the ones who are guilty of said issues. Child rape. Slavery exists. Okay? One of the reasons why I've been thinking about making a video of like good things that Bush actually did, which has only recently occurred to me that he did anything good. Amber Alerts. Okay. Say Bush himself wasn't a traitor. Okay, just hear me out. The fact that there's some people who think Bush wasn't a traitor and Obama is one of the most hilariously pathetic things in the world. But say Bush was a patriot and it was Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, or Dick Cheney and somebody else who was actually behind playing into Russia's hands. Okay. See, who else was fat? Who else fucking just was a greedy glutton? Oh, Karl Rove. Okay, that was hard. So Dick Cheney and Karl Rove, two-man team. We're missing a third one. Might have been Wolfowitz, but regardless, moving on. If Bush was in over his head and he was realizing that this was the Cold War that he was fighting, he didn't quite have anywhere to turn without betraying his Republican friends. And a certain lawyer who Dick Cheney accidentally shot in the face. Now, this is where it gets interesting. See, the Russian mafia, that'd be a more appropriate term than Khazaria if it wasn't for the fact that it has Russian in it, and Russia is inherently a good country being ran by bad people, and they're being brainwashed into becoming a slave army. But you see, one of the most profitable things in the world, not oil, it's children. Selling slaves. You get all the oil if you want, all the oil that you want if you have a slave army. The nation of the fourth part of the earth. The nation from the fourth part of the earth. The nation from a fourth of the earth. The nation that occupies a fourth of the earth. You see, ancient texts would trick you like that. But what you know about prophecy should be applied when deciphering the linguistics involved into a modern language. A lot of people want to say America is the great Satan, America is the whore of Babylon. They used to say Babylon was the whore of Babylon. But the son of the great king would invade and reconstruct Babylon. Bush. But that wasn't the king of the north. That was the great king, or what he called the great king. And possibly unnecessarily attributed to an Antichrist situation. Speaking of things unnecessarily attributed, there is no scriptural conjecture that can be used to identify America or one of its leaders as the Antichrist. And here's why. We have a country to the north of us. We are not the king of the north. Nobody from here is the king of the north. Babylon is a known place. And we are just one of a long line of nations who've gone a whoring after it in that respect. Okay? But there's two identifying geographic things. One is the kingdom of the north, okay? America's got people north of it. We're not the kingdom of the north. We're not a fucking kingdom, are we? This is a democracy. You vote, your vote matters. You better vote. If you don't vote, you better stop your bitching. Go look at a map. Now, prophecy is written for the future, with the future in mind, and not made necessarily to be decrypted until that future has arrived. Okay? Now, nation from the fourth part of the earth. One way that can be taken is the obvious, the fourth part of the earth. 1, 2, 3, number 4. But we don't really know what the fourth nation that was settled is. Okay? And prophecy is written in context of future knowledge. Kind of like when you have a dream and you remember memories from in that dream that aren't common with the memories that you have when you're awake. Well, that's how prophecy is written. Okay? Prophecy knew about modern context when the flash was received to whoever wrote it. Period. And in a modern context, God knows these things. God told the person. Okay? God knows. Trust me. Kind of what he does. Knows things that are going to happen. I know humans who can do this shit. So at least give that power to God, hypothetical argument. So if the prophet who wrote that knew that we weren't going to know what the fourth nation was, then what's the proper interpretation of the text where the word fourth is used? You looking at a map? Looking north? Where's the North Pole? No, it's actually not above the ice caps. It's the polar north, magnetic north. It's in Russia. And apparently it moves. Really? No, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I was gonna try to explain it from their perspective, but all that wanted to come out with da 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 da. 2012, the world's gonna end. Oh wait, they didn't fucking end it. Jeez. The reason people keep hurry up and waiting about end times prophecy in general. Back to the notes. Is largely due to the ignorance of the fact, due to like the rewriting of history in general, by a lot of people with last names ending in ski, or supposed Saxons who changed their names. Yeah. It's not the names of their families that I'm worried about. It's the fact that it's all fake that I'm worried about. See, there was this great holy war supposed to happen 1,000 years after the book of Revelation was written. Problem with all these end time prophecies, John Hagee of the world, is they don't seem to realize that the great prophesied holy war happened 1,000 years ago on schedule. Perhaps you've heard of it. I believe it was called the Crusades. Did you miss that? I mean, you know, there's been a couple movies made about it. Couple. At least as many movies as there are millimeters to a troll's penis. See, the reason people keep hurry up and waiting is because the Great Holy War already happened 1,000 years ago. For the past 150 years, however, history has been largely rewritten in this country with three objectives. Okay. One, and the objective is mainly to take away the strength of the church community. Okay, the strength of the church community in this country became the strength of our military during World War I and II. I don't give a fuck what any atheists say about that. Don't even give a fuck. Not not 10 times 10 to the negative 42nd of a fuck. So, old age, extreme old age of mighty men, of men of extreme faith. Okay, that's been completely deleted out of history. That can't be possible. We're going to figure out the real story. And in figuring out the real story, they've come up with a bunch of different names that sound like different titles at different times for people. And you usually find they have the first name or at least one name in common. through several generations. Chances are it's all the same fucking person. Okay? So that's one thing. And that can do a lot of damage. Has done a lot. Especially when hiding the guilty parties is the issue. Like Hitler, for instance. You can Google, find out when he was born. You can find these creepy, old looking pictures of him when he was a kid. Technically, photographic technology has been around for a very, very long time. You just don't know it. A lot of technologies have. Flying, for instance. The ability to fly is thousands of years old. Okay? Man has been jealous of birds for a lot longer than the past century. Now, airplane propulsion, wing flight, that's new. That's pretty cool. So, second objective, to call into question and thus remove historical context from non-sanctioned biblical stories. As in, any Bible story that is too inspirational, that unites people instead of dividing them. You gotta poke holes in it. No explanation needed there. Third one, by preventing us from knowing our past, they prevent us from knowing that we had common struggles together. I'm talking about salt and pepper. I'm talking about black people and white people. Okay, you ain't black and I ain't white. I mean, this is some serious lighting, but I am like pink. You know, I'm like yellowish, pinky, and I'm khaki. I'm khaki. It's fucking stupid. Salt and pepper, baby. Salt and fucking pepper. That's all I give a shit about. It's supposed to be blended together so the flavor's just perfect. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Forget about it. Threw some garlic salt in there for a second. Preventing us from knowing a common struggle in our past prevents us from being able to unite right now. Prevents us from being able to struggle together in the future. Okay? I don't care what you call me. Call me white, call me honky, call me cracker. Call me cracker with not enough lacquer. I don't care. Let's just get over it. Give a big fucking finger to the people who want to divide us. Cheers. That's and on that bombshell, it's time to hit the button. If you like this video, hit that thing with the thumbs up. And if you didn't like this video, go to the freeway. Find a car that you like. Run up to it and go, tag, you're it.